Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Moneyball. I am Donovan D Money Scott, along with my partner in crime, Mr. Jay Ball. And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Donald Jones, a former Buffalo Bill and legendary Youngstown State wide receiver. So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just coaching. I coach high school out here. I live back in Jersey now. Coaching high school ball and coaching the youth team as well. So as you can imagine, things are kicking up right now with both
Yeah.
teams really being in training camp, so to speak. So it's crazy.
Yeah, everybody just started grinding, right? About you've had them couple weeks, maybe month.
So the high school team, we just finished like 7-on-7 type of season. We're gonna have a dead period here coming up, 10 days off. That's like a state rule,
Okay.
and then we'll get into training camp, like full-fledged training camp. The youth team, yeah, we're going. Like we have our first scrimmage next weekend, and then we play down in Philadelphia the week after that, and then we're down in Virginia. So it's a travel team. We won
I was just
nationals
gonna
last
say
year.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
like a travel football team. How old are those guys?
12.
12
12.
and
So they're right on
12U
the
type
cusp
thing?
of high school. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely active, right? You're definitely staying busy.
Whew. Yeah, man. It's
Jay,
crazy.
start us out here, Jay. I know Jay was dying to
Yeah,
talk to you, man. We're big fans of what you did on and off the field, man, from what we've seen. So I'm gonna let Jay dive into it here.
yeah. I always like to start at the beginning of your career. You were an
Yeah.
undrafted free agent, right?
Yeah.
So the nice thing about an undrafted free agent is you kind of get to choose where you go to an extent. Now, did you have other options, or was it just Buffalo? And what made you choose Buffalo?
You know what? At the time when so during the draft, I was sick, right? So we had we had maybe the week leading up, my agents got a call from a couple of the teams, and it was like, listen, the my dog just ran out here. The
Yeah.
they're like, listen, we're not going to draft you because of your kidneys. And I'm like, all right. So what does that mean? So draft day comes, and we really, I'm sitting there. I have a draft party, a bunch of people, cook out, all of that stuff
Yeah.
here at the house, and my name never gets called. Actually, technically, the Chiefs called me in the fifth round and told me they were going to draft me, and that
Really?
call never came. Yeah, that call never came. And so afterwards, the Giants called me, the Chiefs called back, the Bills called, the Colts called, and I just had to figure out what was the best fit. And at the time, the Bills didn't really seem to have any receivers other than Lee Evans that anyone knew about. Like Stevie
Right.
wasn't Stevie yet. You
Yep.
had Roscoe Parrish. So it was like, man, maybe that's probably the best fit for me to go up there. I grew up a Giants fan, so it was hard to turn that down. But I had to do what was best for me. And don't get me wrong, I love Buffalo,
Right.
but at the time, it was like, man, I gotta go to Buffalo. Snow like that.
Yeah.
But the rest is history.
We had a couple other, Taiwan and Stevie and a few other Bills that we've spoken with, and I've brought that up a few times, right? I've always said like, Buffalo isn't exactly LA. And when you're a young man, you're
Yeah.
20, you're 21 years old, man, and there's going to be some money coming in. It's Buffalo, certainly not Vegas, but we're we're glad you chose Buffalo. And what did you think of it as far as a town?
Oh man, I mean, that place adopted me. I'm like a Bills fan through and through now. My kids are Bills fans,
It
like the
sucks you
entire
in,
family.
doesn't it?
It really does. I don't know what it is, man, but it's like
Yeah.
a family environment, and you find yourself like, man, I love it here. I even went back and worked in the media up there. So,
Remember, yeah.
yeah, man, it's I love it when I get to go back up and go to the games. I'll probably be up at some point during the season here. I'm working on some podcast stuff up there. So I love it. I love it, and they love us.
Do you consider it a second home? I mean, you're from Jersey, right?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Buffalo's definitely a second home.
Good, good.
Definitely a second home. It's always a place to get to. We have fun. They embrace us. When we go to the games, man, when I get back to the stadium, it's like, man, I feel like I'm back home. And so for me, once they build the new stadium, it's gonna be weird. I'm sure it'll be weird for everybody.
So I live about a couple miles, and literally, my day job takes me past takes me next to the stadium and where they're doing all the work right now every single day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So traffic aside, which is going to be a nightmare, it's really to see them already working on this, and they have the fence set up where they're doing the work and everything, and it's so hard, man, for me to visualize how this is going to look a couple years
Yeah.
down the road, because this is some state of the art stuff. They want to build up a whole shopping plaza in there. You've been to Dallas Cowboys Stadium, right?
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh
have you
yeah.
been to their practice facility where it's the whole village, right? The whole
Been
mall.
there. The whole village. Yep.
Cool
Yep.
as hell, right? So that's what I'm thinking and hoping that they're going to do or try to do in Buffalo, and that'd be rad, man. I'm hoping that's what
I
they
know.
do.
I know. There's a couple of places like that. Like up in New England, they have like a full. They have a hotel in that parking
Yeah.
lot. They have it might be like an urgent care hospital type of place. They have a mall, a movie theater, right? So if they can build that whole little thing up, that'd be great. Sure.
When you came into Buffalo, how strange was it, right? This is something I bring up to all my out of town friends and anyone who really doesn't know the area that well. How strange was it, I guess, getting off the plane? They say, all right, we're going to take you into, or plane, or you drove or whatever, right? But we're going to take you into the Bills facilities. And it's not downtown, right? I think it's us, maybe Arrowhead and Green Bay, right? That have this kind of strange middle of nowhere, if you will, Orchard Park. And how strange was it, come and be like, man, this isn't a city, and this isn't there's nothing here, right? Was it weird? And do other players that you speak with, do they share that same sentiment?
We have no. It's not really something that the players talk about. I think the only thing that we talk about when it comes to the stadium not being downtown is just where you're going to live.
Yeah.
Like you have your guys that are more family oriented type of guys that will live out in the South towns.
Yep.
Then you'll have some of the younger guys that want to party a little bit more. They're more like downtown area type of thing.
Yep.
But
Not much has changed there.
Yeah, no, that's always going to be. That's just a natural thing, right? But I never really thought about which teams are not downtown, and now as you say that, yeah, I mean Arrowhead, I was just there for the draft, and I went out to the stadium, and then Green Bay Green Bay is just in the middle of nowhere. That's just
Middle of nowhere, yeah.
I mean, Foxborough is in the middle of kind of in the middle of nowhere as well. Those are only four that I can think of in the league. Yeah, everything else is like right downtown, the downtown vicinity.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting to see what they're going to do in Orchard Park. But myself personally, man, I was really hoping, and I might be the minority here. Jay might even not agree with me. I was really hoping we were going to put something on the waterfront downtown. We have so much unused space, that old Bethlehem steel plant and, all that area, and it's just perfect for it. And I think it would bring so much more to Buffalo. But listen, I won't get into that because I already lost that battle. They're already building, man. They broke they broke ground on it. So
yeah.
So
it's I was thinking the same thing originally. I was like, man, I also thought about like if they put this thing on this water, it's gonna be freezing cold out here.
Yeah.
But the entire time I would drive that way, and I'm like, man, there is a lot of space out here that they can actually build.
And did you see what they're doing with the new one? They're actually covering the fans and leaving the field open.
Yeah, like the big awnings, like down in Miami.
Yeah, so it can still snow on Miami, right?
Right, exactly.
Love it.
Now, Donald, I want to talk about you mentioned that the teams weren't going to draft you because of your kidney. So, for the people that don't know, you ended up having a kidney transplant, and before you did anything, you actually had the same doctor as Alonzo Mourning, right?
Correct.
And you guys talk. Well, I mean, what was that conversation like with Alonzo Mourning?
It was in that time when you're sick and you're just trying to figure out what's going on, what's the next steps, and they tell you where your kidneys are functioning at 25-30%. You don't really know what's the next step, right? And you hear dialysis, you hear all of these horror stories, right? And so, the Bills reached out to the Miami Heat, just trying to. They knew about Alonzo Mourning's story, and I wanted to find a good doctor, and they were like, "There's a good doctor in New York, but we need to figure out how to get in contact with this doctor." So they reached out to Alonzo. They reached out to the National Kidney Foundation, and then everyone just trying to find my doctor, Dr. Gerald Appel, up in New York City. But Alonzo was cool, man. I actually didn't really get to speak to him until I met Dr. Appel. I spoke more to the Miami Heat themselves than Alonzo, but then once I met Dr. Appel, he directed me straight to Alonzo. We spoke, and we still continue to speak to this day. When you go in his office, in the doctor's office, he's been known to work with many athletes. And there are many athletes with kidney disease that people don't really know about.
Yeah.
But the doctor is probably 5'2", and he has pictures of like all of us standing next to him, right? Alonzo Mourning is like 6'10".
Yeah.
Right.
Sean Elliott's like 6'10", 6'11", right? And he's like a real short dude. It's very funny.
That is great.
Let me ask you this. So you had said, and by all means, I don't want to, make you.
I wrote a book about it, man. So we good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the book?
It's called The Next Quarter: Scoring Against Kidney Disease.
Okay. Has that been out a little while?
It's on Amazon. Oh yeah, it's an Amazon bestseller.
Okay.
And now
Let's hear it one more time. I want the plug one more time.
The Next Quarter: Scoring Against Kidney Disease.
All right.
So it's on Amazon. Like I said, Amazon bestseller. Once I retired, I wrote it, self-published it. I sold a vehicle to publish the book, and
That's awesome, man.
I started traveling the world and speaking.
That's what I kind of wanted to. That's a good segue. I wanted to dive in, but I just want to hit rewind 1 second. So you had said at the draft, people knew about this. So when was it that I guess you had to reveal everything, or how did people find out? Right when you were at Y State, did that I guess you know what I mean? What was the path that everything teams found out about this and they were hesitant to draft? Yet you were a huge prospect and they were going to draft you, right? So I mean, how did you need to disclose that, or how did that go down?
You know what? At the combine is when it came out. When they do the whole medical workup.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys doctors told me you're probably not going to get drafted.
Okay.
Now, I grew up a Giants fan, so I always had a hate for the Cowboys. But when their doctors told me that, my hate for them now is ridiculous.
You were like, anybody but the Cowboys. Anybody but the Cowboys can tell me this.
Oh, man, my hate for them now is just, but yeah, everything came out at the combine, man. They do the medical workup. They test you head to toe, and they're like, nah, something wrong with the kidney. So you probably won't end up getting drafted. So it sucked, man. I had a 4th round grade and you end up not getting drafted.
Now, how did you know about it prior, or? Oh
yeah, I was diagnosed back in my sophomore year of college.
Okay, all right.
I just didn't tell anybody.
Well, and that's smart.
I felt fine, I felt fine. Like with kidney disease, you don't feel anything until you're sick.
Okay.
And especially with my disease, IgA nephropathy, and so for years, if I got sick, then you knew something was wrong with the kidneys, but for the most part, you feel fine. Like you just keep on going and going and going. And so once I was playing in the league, my kidneys, I was so much in good shape that my kidneys functioning at a low percentage, it was okay. I could still function and I could still get it done.
You were that good
but
of an
then
athlete,
it came
Yeah,
exactly. But then it came a point where it was like, nope, body was talking to me and she started shutting down on me. Like, hold on.
Yeah. You're like, hold on, I'm a young man. I'm only 25 years old.
Yeah,
no.
Man. So it was a tough time.
Now, Donald, you ended up having a transplant, and you had a pretty special donor, right?
Yep. My dad gave me a kidney. What's crazy? We'll be on December 3rd was the date we had the transplant, and this year will be 10 years. 10 years removed from a kidney transplant. So
congrats.
We got to do something special.
Absolutely,
man. You got to celebrate that. That's like a 10-year anniversary of marriage, right?
Oof, man. Yeah. 10 years I'm sure we'll be down. My son's football team will be down in nationals that week, though. So unless I can get my dad to go with us down there, I have to celebrate when I get back.
That'll be a real special time.
Absolutely, yeah. And what an amazing human, obviously. And yes, you're his son, but not every parent would say yes to that, man. It's sad but true. I do have kids. Do you have kids, Donald?
I have 2 boys.
Yeah, 2 boys. How old are the boys?
One will be 6 Tuesday, and the other one will be 13 next month.
All right, cool. I have 3 boys. Jay has 2 boys.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
could you, I mean, for me and for you and for Jay, right? It seems like, well, of course you would do that. You would do anything in God's creation for your kids, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you jump in front of train tracks for them, but there's not everybody that would do that, man. And you still have to have a very special human to make that sacrifice and do it. And needless to say, your father's obviously that guy.
Yeah, and my father is the type that does not go to the doctor. One of those guys. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not, so you go years and years and years. Luckily, he was even healthy enough to do it.
Yeah.
But he's like terrified of needles.
Yeah.
And, when you're getting a kidney transplant, the workup that they do, they take vials and vials of blood from you, man. And he looked at me one time, I was like, bro, you lucky I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even listen. I can't even talk about needles. It's that bad.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But now you're feeling good, right? I mean, since that time now, I guess because that was 10 years ago, your career was not over yet, right? And New England, I think, had signed you. And was it something where it just what went into the decision if you had the transplant prior to, what went into the decision of, I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep playing ball.
When they told me I was in kidney failure, they said, I mean, once you get a kidney transplant, your kidneys are in your back, behind your rib cage. And once you get a transplant, they put it up like where your stomach is. So there's nothing to protect your kidneys.
Okay. All right.
So with that, you can't take any hits.
Got you.
So it was a done deal on playing football. Like Alonzo Mourning was able to do it because it was basketball.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not, I mean, it's contact, but they were able to make a shield that he could really protect himself.
Okay.
There's no shield to shield you in football. I mean,
hey man, this is educational too. Like I had no idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like writing it. So I remember when I went to the doctor, a doctor that I seen down in Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, one of the most like world-renowned nephrologists. He was like, "Hey man, you're always gonna look like you have a gut." And I was like, "Man, please, who you're talking to? Like, I work out."
Right. Yeah.
And he was like, he's like, "All right, just trust me when I tell you." And lo and behold, like it doesn't matter how much I work out. There's always like a pudge down there, and I'm like,
"Get out of here, really?
Terrible, man! Like freaking dad bod."
Man, Dad Bob, you're not ready for that, man. You're still only 33, right?
I'm 35. I'll be 36 in
Oh, 35. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you are an old man. Yeah, I'm 44, bro. So
hey, listen, you let everybody tell it. I got a lot of gray. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got a lot of gray in my beard and everything. People are like, "Yo, man, you." Now my father is like fully white, and he's 50. He's going on 60, but he was fully gray at 40. So it runs in the family.
Yeah.
But he says that because he gave me a kidney, that's why I'm graying early.
Right.
That's what he said. I actually asked the doctor. He was like, "Nah, it has nothing to do with it."
It's got nothing to do with it.
That's funny.
He just wants to give you a hard time and make sure he brings that up, right?
Yeah.
Plus, tell him, man, chicks dig the salt and pepper look, right? They
love it.
They love it, man.
They love it. Listen, man.
If I grow this beard out, I look like an old Labrador retriever. I got gray all over the beard, but
Really?
Yeah, but they like it. My wife loves it.
Hey man, see, there you go. You had to add that one in. Your wife loves it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I knew where I was going. Yeah, I'm not stupid.
Yeah, don't forget.
She watches these, man.
Well, my wife loves it as well, man, for sure.
Donald, take me back to that time when you had to make that decision, because you're coming off your best year. I mean, you had over 40 catches, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns with the Bills, which is a great. You could tell you were coming into your zone there as a wide receiver. Yeah. And you just signed with the Patriots. And I think they signed you because you just dominated them every time. They just didn't want to play against you anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the Patriot way.
Yeah, right. But tell me how your emotions were, to make that decision. I mean, you just signed with a new team, and
I didn't want to leave Buffalo. And they, when the call came in, Buddy Nix called me and he's like, "Man, I hate to do this." I put my country voice. "I hate to do this." And he was like, "You're our guy, and we really want to keep you, but we just can't do it with the kidneys. The doctors just won't clear you."
Really?
And so it was tough. To get that call was really tough. And I was in the middle of negotiating a contract extension, a bigger deal, which is what we all play for.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you love the game, but you want to be able to make millions of dollars.
Of course.
And so now, I got to sign with another team, and teams called. I mean, I visited the Colts. I visited the Titans. I ended up the Browns called, Houston called. I ended up going to New England, and it was like I hated it. It was such a different vibe, man. Like
We
Bill
love to hear that.
Belichick is Bill Belichick. What you see on TV is what you get in person, and
Yeah.
it was the worst vibe ever. And I was sick on top of it. So at that point, it was like, you know what? I really I don't even want to do this anymore.
That's
The
such an
the
interesting.
human side kicked in. It's like you got a son, you need to go home and just get healthy so you can take care of your family.
Do you think there's any chance in the world that had that been a different vibe, right? Like maybe that was out in San Diego Chargers, right? Like that might have been different.
That might have been different, but to go to New England where it's cold and it's snowy and it just was not, and then the team there it's business. It's just all business. Like Buffalo, you get a family feel, you get to have a little fun. But New England was just all business all the time. You're not allowed to be on social media. Like that whole Patriot way is just a whole different thing. And I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm okay.
It's funny because everybody will. I don't know if it's in the contract or what in New England, but while they're playing, everybody talks about how great it is and how great Belichick is in the system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even as recently, they leave, man. Even as recently as my man Edelman, right? Now he started talking about how terrible it was and how he wouldn't have retired it, but he was a Patriot. So I swear it's like something in their contract. They have to say how great it is while they're playing.
Yeah, because he'll cut you.
Yeah.
Like he'll cut you fast. You say
That's
something
it.
crazy and he will let you go, So he dangles that out in front of you and you fall in line because you want to continue to play and get your game checks and all of that stuff. And
it's a business.
Obviously those guys were winning for a long time, but if it wasn't for them winning, I know that those guys would be like, you know what? Nah, to get this whole Patriot way. Like they wouldn't get any free agents.
100. Yeah, they wouldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
So then you wrote the book. What year did you write the book?
2013.
Okay. 2013.
So it might have been 14 because I had the transplant in 13. So I don't even remember now. Maybe 14, 15. I can't even. The time, listen, COVID made everything run together for me.
Listen, man, time is strange and it flies by. Like you're July, you're August, and you're like, whoa, what happened to May? I get it.
Crazy.
But then writing this book you got the opportunity then to promote it and like you had said to travel and speak about it, man. And I had watched some of the videos and some of the stuff regarding that, and this doesn't have anything to do with the Buffalo media stuff or anything, just with you and promoting and speaking. And I think there's a big impact there, and I truly feel that you have changed some lives, I really feel that way about maybe some athletes who thought this was the end, right? Because a lot of times, as a pro athlete, sometimes, you might feel like this is what I have to offer and this is everything to me, right? This is all I can do. And then knowing that there is life after football, and as you presented it and as put together as you are, man, I think that was a really good. Tell me a little bit about the experience of going and speaking and being able to travel.
Man, you know what? I've done a lot, partnering up with becoming a spokesperson for the IGA Foundation, for the National Kidney Foundation, being on Capitol Hill, the NIH, traveling to England with doctors from around the world. I've done a lot. I've been, partnered up with pharmaceutical companies. Like I've truly been able to help a lot of people.
Yep.
I've gotten tweets still to this day from people outside of the country like, man, I read your book. You inspire me. I'm actually, like I said, I'm working on some podcast things with a friend of mine up there in Buffalo who does one already. It's more in that health field. So you guys might see that and might see me up there in the hospitals pretty soon working on some things. And I love to do it, man. I love to, people who are sick, going through things, you feel like, man, this is it. Like I don't have anything else,
That's
and
what I
you just
mean.
need
Yeah.
someone. You need someone positive that's been through it that can tell you, like, no, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. Like I deal with things day to day, but I'm able to still live a happy and functional life. So I'm
And
cool, man.
no, that's what's up, man. And really that's super inspiring just hearing that. And it could be any walk of life. It doesn't have to be a kidney ailment. It could be somebody who suffered from, mental, right?
Yeah,
Or
whatever it
drug
is.
users, or like there's light at the end of the tunnel with stuff, right?
Oh, exactly. So it's tough when you're going through it. And listen, if you get to go through your entire life without dealing with some sort of health issue, then man, you're blessed. But most of us at some point, whether you're old or you're young, you're gonna go through something, and you just need someone positive to help you get through it.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. So I know you got to run shortly. Jay and I like to wrap everything up with what we call rapid fire. Hope you're ready for it.
All right, here we go.
Can I ask
Six questions.
Donald about baseball real quick?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I got to, man. You played in the Atlantic League for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, Somerset Patriots out here in New Jersey, man. After the transplant, I started to train again. I played baseball. I like to say I was an athlete. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the coaches, Coach Bobby, he's from Florida, right? So guys from Florida swear that they're really good at everything, but they really suck at everything. And now I was able to do a lot of different things. And baseball, I was really better in baseball than I was in football. I just didn't. In high school, I come from an inner city high school.
Yeah.
I could hit a home run on a Tuesday and come to school and nobody knew.
Really?
But if I scored a touchdown, listen, man, the ladies loved it.
Yeah.
So after the transplant, I did go back and play baseball and just training that hard though. I played for a little bit, and after just training, I was like, I'm tired, man. I don't even want to do any sports anymore.
Well, that league is amazing, an amazing.
Oh
league.
yeah, you got to be kind of good to play in that league.
Oh hell yeah!
You got to be real good. I mean, Jose Canseco came from there. Tim Reeves, Ricky Henderson. I mean, that's
you got to be kind of good.
There's that, and the Pacific Coast, and I think those two are the major outside of MLB. So those are the two. Now, last thing that I have, because that was good actually that Jay touched on that, and I'm surprised I didn't, because I'm the baseball nut. I guess we both are. But did you at that time? You were still a young man. Did you say I'm going to go play pro? Were you?
I did.
You did.
I did. I was like, man, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make this a story. But the route that you got to take to get to the majors, for me at the time, it just was a lot. And what happened was I got a hit. It was an infield hit, and I was fast enough. Obviously, I beat out the throw to first base. Then I stole second and stole third.
Okay.
And when I got to third base, I was like, I felt like I was gonna pass out. It was like 100 degrees that day, and I just felt like my body was saying, "Don't test it."
Yep.
And so I shut it down.
I love the testament of listening to your body, man.
Oh yeah, please listen to your body.
Any good nutritionist, and I'm sure that has some, the podcast you can be, any good nutritionist or anyone that takes care of their body listens to it, man. If you're working out 3-4 days in a row, those days that you get up and you're like, I just don't feel like working out today. Don't take the day off and let it be. Oh, your muscles aren't going to deflate, man. You're not going to
Exactly. So definitely listen to your body, man.
No doubt.
If you're out drinking and your body is telling you I'm drunk, tell me. Trust me, you're drunk.
You're drunk. You're drunk. Yeah, it's not lying. You're drunk.
Right.
You want to get us started, Jay? You want to throw one at him here?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, which one is harder? Is it harder to hit a baseball, or was Raheem Moore's hit harder?
Jay's always got these wild questions, man. This dude
it's harder to hit a baseball than Raheem. I didn't feel Raheem Moore's hit because I was knocked out.
That was scary, man. That was scary.
Nah, it was. He actually didn't. I mean, he hit me hard, but my head hitting the ground is what did it.
And you know what I love most about that is your boy Stevie Johnson.
Of course, man.
He came over and he wanted to whoop his ass.
Yeah, that's my guy. You
Yep.
know, I hope my coaches on the coaching staff that I coach with will have my back like that. They're over here on the side over
Yeah,
here.
I could tell they are, man. I could tell they are.
Stevie always had your back, man. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
every time you caught the ball, he would block differently. I'm telling you, when you had the ball, he would
Yeah.
block his ass off for you to make sure you got the score.
Stevie's a different person that a lot of people wouldn't really understand him if you really got a chance to know him and talk to him. You really wouldn't understand him, and I was one of those people that could understand him, you know. And he and I, it was so weird, man, because we came in the league. I mean, he was a 7th-round guy, was undrafted, right?
Yep.
JUCO guys. You know, he has a sister named Deja and a brother named Dre. I have a sister named Deja and a brother named Dre. It was just like weird synergy. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? You know? And so we to this day, man, we talk.
I had a chance, just through meeting him with this, just, dicing it up with him. And I've been talking to him the last like 3-4 days now. And he's just, you're right. He's just a solid dude. And he's got a lot to offer the world, man. And he's a special, human, and that's all gonna definitely expose itself, I think, sooner than later, real soon,
Yeah.
So rapid fire 2, who's faster, you or Stevie?
Me. Come on, man.
See?
Come on.
He said the same thing, didn't he, Jay? He was like, Donald's way faster.
Yeah, we might have to have a race here.
No, hell no, he said that.
Not now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I would say me, but now, I don't know, man.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see, man. He said he's coming to Buffalo in August, maybe.
Is he? I gotta hit him up and see when he's gonna be up there, and I'll see if I can make a trip. Because I'm supposed to come up there in August as well, so we'll see if we can make that trip.
When y'all come up. So, and this list leads into my next rapid fire question, which do you like better, chicken wing? Do you like the drum or the flats?
I'm a flats guy, man.
You're a flats guy. All right. Myself, Jay, Ball, you and Stevie, we go over to Elmo's. We see how many wings we could eat in 1 hour.
Ooh. Does it matter the flavor? Like,
well, it does, because Elmo's has got the double dipped Cajun, which are untouchable. You'll never have a better wing. So that's where we're at.
All right, cool.
All right. Cool. Jay, go ahead.
So your favorite team growing up was the Giants, right?
Correct.
So who was your guy, man? Who's your favorite player growing up on the Giants?
On the Giants?
Unless you had a favorite player on a different team.
Nah, well, yeah. I mean, I grew up watching like T.O. and I guess Jerry Rice was early in my years, but on the Giants was like Ike Hilliard, Tiki Barber, those guys. Yeah, back in those years when they were still kind of good.
Yeah.
The
Giants, they had their time, man. They had
Coomer, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
I think Eli's super underrated, man. I think
Eli's gonna be a Hall of Famer because the Hall of Fame is a popularity contest, but that's another discussion for another.
That's time. A whole nother discussion, yeah, for sure. And that's every sport, dude. We were talking to Johnny Damon last week and had a great interview with him, and this cat was 230 or 240 hits shy of 3,000.
Yeah.
His stats were amazing over 17 years, and I don't even think he's even been on the ballot yet, right? So
crazy.
It's nuts.
Trust me, I get to talk to Ruben Brown. He and I are really good friends.
Yeah. How's he doing, man?
He's good, man. He's living life. He's actually down this way, but he's, Ruben made how many Pro Bowls, and he won't sniff the Hall of Fame because it's all a popularity thing.
It is every year. Every year he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he never caused any problems. He was like the absolute perfect. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's still riding his motorcycles.
Oh, everywhere. He'll go to Africa. He's like all over, man. He's What's that movie? There was a movie,
Wild Hogs. Wild Hogs.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah, he's the Wild Hog.
You'll see him with like
one of my boys, man.
Yeah,
he hangs out with my boy Mike Kearns. He's always with him at the Big Tree Inn. They're always at the Big Tree Inn.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
My last question for you on the rapid fire: are the Bills going to win a Super Bowl in the next year or two? I mean, is Josh going to take us to the promised land here? What's going on?
I think Josh is going to take us to the promised land. I don't know if it's the next year or two.
Really? Okay.
Reason being, trust me, I want it to happen. I think we have an older team. I think we need to get younger and we need to get faster. And I think that's one thing that we lack is just that overall team speed in the secondary. We have really good safeties, right? But we've seen them get like torched.
Yeah.
And so that's just from a sheer speed standpoint, a guy against, I mean, Tariq Hill torches everybody, right? But even the Juju Smith-Schusters and those guys who aren't necessarily the fastest you'll see them go by our guys. And I just think that we need to get younger and we need to get faster. We need to get there soon in the next couple of years.
I agree with you. And I was surprised. I do like Dalton. I like Kincaid, but I was kind of surprised we didn't go somewhere, back in the secondary there because offensively, James Cook, right? I think, that the second year receiver is going to be great. Obviously you have Diggs, right? And we have some weapons there. Cook, I think, is going to be a savage. I think that dude's going to be as good as his brother.
I think that when he becomes that savage is when we can really cement ourselves in the playoffs. I think that's when you can beat the Chiefs. I think it's very hard to do when you put everything on Josh Allen. And I think that's one of the issues right now. Like everything is on Josh Allen.
100%.
Like we need you to make the plays, make the big plays, correct the mistakes that we make. Like, you know what I mean? And once you get into the playoffs, you can't rely on that. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to play defense. And
I want to see a screen pass to a running back for once in my life.
I mean, we don't listen. That's just right now not in our offense, and I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, especially with Cook, that we can become a more dynamic and balanced offense. Even with Harris back there. Hopefully, if we do, we can we can find ourselves getting over that hump in the playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl because our defense. I'm going to be honest with you, again, because our defense is a little bit older, I think our defense, the media coverage would tell you, like, man, they got a really good defense. Yep. When you watch the games, you're like, yo, but they're driving on us crazy, like every game. I don't feel like we can't stop anybody.
Yeah, we give up a lot of yards, but not a lot of touchdowns.
But not a lot of touchdowns, right? And so, a really good offense also helps your defense. And I mean, not just a big play offense, like a sustainable drive, efficient offense can really help your defense. It can give them rest that they need, et cetera. I think once we can do that, we can win some games in the playoffs.
We've had a bend, don't break attitude on defense for a long time, and I hate that attitude, man. I want that crazy
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens, Ed Reed, Jamal, or Ray Lewis, man.
Well, you're missing a Ray Lewis. That's
well, that attitude though. Yeah.
Give me a Ray Lewis, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Do you have another one, Jay, or no?
Well, yeah, actually, Donald, you can see I collect some stuff, and I always like to ask our guest, do you have a piece of memorabilia or something from your, that you collect that means a lot to you?
Ooh, that I collect? That means a lot to me.
Or maybe a jersey that you swapped with someone that you love.
I mean, my guys, so like any other jerseys that I have from outside of the Bills, those are guys that I know. But my guys, Stevie and Fred and Fitz and those jerseys are the most important to me because those are my guys. So, obviously those jerseys are great, but I have like my football helmets from when I was in high school and college and all that stuff. That's the most special to me.
Yes.
From my younger years,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the glory days, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Where it all started.
And what was so cool about you four guys? Donald Jones, undrafted. Stevie Johnson, 7th round. Fred Jackson, undrafted. Fitz, 7th round. I mean, you guys
had David Nelson, who was undrafted.
Yeah.
David Roosevelt, who was undrafted.
That becomes a fraternity in itself, though, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Yeah. I know.
I gotta get tatted like you, man. I gotta get me something right here.
Yeah, you might.
It's not a tat. I thought
there's a tat. There's a tat.
No, I thought that necklace was a tat, though.
You know what? Now you got ideas coming. You got ideas flowing now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, this was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. You seem like a definite, really, really cool dude, man. Thanks for doing this once again. And
I'm
not joking about those wings, dude.
Hey, well, I'll be up. I'll let you know when I'm coming up. Let's do it again.
Please do it.
Season, man. We can talk some football.
Sounds great, man.
All right, cool, man.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. I know those guys are waiting on you for the coaching stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
Thanks for taking the time. We'll talk soon.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, take care, man. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.